Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jenna Espinoza. I am an energy accounts specialist with Central Coast Community Energy, your local energy provider. And today we will be talking about our new upcoming rate structure for 2022, among with a couple other things. So let's get started. So today we are going to talk about who Central Coast Community Energy is and how we provide clean and renewable energy to the community. I will share a sneak peek of our customer portal with you. And then I'm going to touch upon some of the resources that are available to you to assist in paying your electricity costs. And then I will outline Central Coast Community Energy's rate options for 2022 and show you how to use our tool for comparing our 2022 service options. And at the end, we have allotted time to answer questions. I do want to note that this webinar is being recorded, and as Patty mentioned, we will be putting it on the website so you can view it later, or if you need to jump off at any point, you can come back and finish this presentation. I do want to ask that if you have any questions, we're very excited to hear from you, but please use the Q&A functionality to submit your questions. We are going to be dropping a lot of links into the chat box. So as I go through the presentation and I mention a resource or a link, Patty's going to be dropping those into the chat. So I want to keep the chat box nice and clean so that you can see all of those links. So please do use the Q&A box to contribute to the conversation. I also want to note that these first three bullets, the first three topics that we're going to be talking about today, are relevant to all of our current, new, incoming, upcoming customers. And the second portion is really only relevant to two categories of customers, or sorry, isn't relevant to two categories of customers. So if you are a customer in our Southern California Edison service area, these rate options are not relevant to you. We have other webinars that would be a better use of your time that you can find on our website. And then our customers who are in Pacific Gas and Electric service area, starting with us after November 1st, you're going to be automatically enrolled in our default rate starting in January 2022. So you may wish to listen to the second part of this presentation, but it's not super relevant to you. So I just want to share that with you so you can choose how to use your time with us today. So we'll start at the top, what Central Coast Community Energy is and how we function as an agency. So we are a government agency known as a Community Choice Aggregator, or a CCA for short. And we are an agency, or CCAs in general, are agencies where cities and counties come together and create a special government agency with the purpose of sourcing energy for their communities. So the investor-owned utilities such as Pacific Gas and Electric or Southern California Edison continue their traditional role of delivery of energy, and CCAs take control over how and where that energy is generated. So assuming control over a piece of the energy revenue allows us to invest back into the community through incentives, rebates, and grants, and help our customers transition to a clean energy future. So at this time, there are 24 community choice aggregation agencies in California, serving 11 million customers statewide. We are a public agency established by cities and counties up and down the Central Coast. And here is a map of our service area. We were formed in 2018 and represent 33 cities and counties from Santa Cruz County down through Santa Barbara County. And we are committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions through local control and the implementation of incentive and rebate programs that facilitate the electrification of our homes, businesses, and transportation. So by 2024, 50% of Californians will be served by community choice aggregation agencies. So here's a funny animation that shows how it works. Our responsibility as an agency is to choose where the energy comes from. So we procure energy that meets the clean and renewable energy goals set by our regional shared community. And then we in turn partner with Pacific Gas and Electric and Southern California Edison to deliver it through their existing infrastructure to your homes and businesses. In this model, public agencies have joined together to create purchasing power so that we can purchase power from the energy market, just as investor-owned utility companies do. This allows us to source energy that meets our community's goals for clean and renewable energy and gives local agencies increased oversight over prices and policies and the opportunity to inform how we reinvest in the community. We are not creating duplicate infrastructure. All of the poles, wires, and billing, it continues to be maintained by PG&E and SCE. We want to share a sneak peek of our customer portal, which will be available to all of our customers soon. We will be releasing a first phase, which allows you to access your usage data at different intervals, download your invoices, and view your generation rates, which is the service that we provide to you. And then as we collect feedback, we will add new functions and that will provide you with more information and functionality, such as the ability to track your application status if you were to purchase an electric vehicle and submit an incentive or rebate request. We do have updated page on, I'll have Patty drop the link in there right now for our customer resources page for if you need any financial assistance paying your bills. You can find a variety of different programs on this page here. And then let's jump into the bulk of our conversation today. So we're going to be talking about our 2022 rate options. So I want to say that this is relevant to all of our currently enrolled customers in the PG&E service area. And the remainder of the conversation today is not relevant to our PG&E customers enrolling after November 1st, nor to any of our Southern California Edison shared customers. So we're going to talk about what is changing, and that put simply is we are changing how we determine the cost of the electricity that you use. This change is going into place in January 2022. And you do have a choice. We've designed it so that the default option going into place in January 2022 is going to benefit the majority of customers. But in order to be transparent, we have created a calculator that can help you see what the difference might be. And then virtually everything else is staying the same. The rate that you have selected with PG&E will continue to be honored. You will continue to pay one bill to Pacific Gas and Electric, which includes the energy that we purchase on your behalf, known as generation charges. And the cost that PG&E charges you for delivering it to your home or business is not changing on our end either. So I just want to show you a quick snapshot of what your bill looks like. So you can expect to see us listed as generation charges. We are not an additional charge. We simply replace the old generation charges from Pacific Gas and Electric since they no longer source your energy. Any rate that you have selected with PG&E continues to be honored. So if you have an electric vehicle rate, you do not have to do anything to make sure that that carries through on our end. So if you like your current rate plan, you do not need to make any changes. So typically when you're a customer of just PG&E, all of your services are bundled. And when you become a Central Coast Community Energy customer, all of your charges become unbundled, and then you'll be able to see specifically your generation charges. And I want to mention that any rate assistance programs that you're enrolled with PG&E, such as CARE, FARA, or Medical Baseline, continue to be honored. Here's another example of what your energy bill may look like. So to date, our rates for electric generation have remained competitive with PG&E's generation rates. We have historically applied a discount off the rates so that our customers are paying less money on their energy bills each month. Our pricing structure has followed a IOU minus rate, which means that we take the rate that PG&E charges and subtract a certain amount. So it's changed throughout the time. You can see in our beginning years, we did a 3% or a 5% discount, and that increased to 7% at one point. At the very beginning of the pandemic, we did a 50% discount for 2 months. And then since that point, we have continued with a 2% discount. The issue with following PG&E's generation rates and subtracting a 2% discount is that they change their rates very frequently. So as you can see, sometimes we've had to make changes as many as 6 times a year to reflect the changes that PG&E makes. And we believe that by untethering our rates from PG&E's, we will be able to provide you with more rate stability and less modifications throughout the year. So our aim with our new 2022 service offerings is that you will find your rates to be predictable. They will go into effect in January 1st with the intention of limited changes through December 31st, 2024, so for 3 years. We have aligned many of our rates into clear and easy to understand segments so that understanding your rate can be more simple. We are charging the true cost of what it takes to serve customers, and we are continuing our commitment to be competitive by only collecting the costs to serve our customers here on the Central Coast. I did want to note, if you are a residential customer, you may have been receiving notices from Pacific Gas and Electric regarding the time of use transition, which is happening here in the month of October, which sets electricity at one cost during the majority of the night and day, and another higher rate from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. So whatever selection you made with them, we will continue to honor. So in 2022, will we begin serving our customers with our new way of calculating the cost of the electricity that you use. These costs can be applied through our default option or the seasonal flat option. This is specifically solely for your generation services, which is the cost that to buy electricity on your behalf. So our 2022 default option has been designed to be the best option for the majority of our customers. And the default rate will continue to mirror the rate plan on which you are with PG&E. So for the majority of customers, this is the time of use plan, which is based on different time use periods, which means the cost of energy will vary on the time of day. The great thing about this option is it gives customers control on the cost of their energy and the ability to shift their usage behaviors. So if for some reason you don't want our default offering, although it's designed to be beneficial to most of our customers, you do have until the end of this month, October 31st, to let us know that you would like to elect for a seasonal flat rate. The seasonal flat rate is a set cost of energy at any time of the day, which only varies based on the seasons of winter and summer. And this option is available to all customers who are on a time of use plan with PG&E. Either way, both options will take place on January 1st, 2022. So to look a little more closely at the difference for residential customers, if you go onto our default option, it will reflect whatever rate plan you have selected with PG&E, and the cost per kilowatt hour is the same for all time of use rate plans, except for EV2A. And if you go for the seasonal flat option, you will have one rate in the summer and one rate in the winter. I'm going to show you all a calculator that will demonstrate that the material difference between these two is quite small. And then commercial customers and agricultural customers, you have the same two options. You will see similar cost per kilowatt hour from the small, medium commercial rate, or you could opt for seasonal flat rates. And so there is a link there that you can dig in and look at all of the different rate options that are available to you. But again, you will find that there's not many customers who do not benefit from being on the default option. So for most of you, whether you're residential, commercial, or agricultural customers, the default option is designed to serve you. There are some customers who have delayed their mandatory transition to time of use or are not required to participate in the statewide time of use transition that is being administered by PG&E. And so the default option will be applied to your old time of use plan or your tiered rate plan. For our net energy metering customers, I do want to note that if you were to select the seasonal flat option, you will not be eligible to receive a net surplus compensation check. It will be applied as a credit on your bill that you can then utilize both for your generation costs with CCCE or your PG&E transmission costs, and that will be valued at retail value. We are offering a one-time $30 bill credit to all of our care, fare, and medical baseline customers in recognition of these new rates starting in January, and that will show up on their bill in February 2022. It is automatic, so no action is needed to receive the credit. So now I'm going to show you the calculator that you can use to look at these two options, participating in the default option, for which you don't need to take any action, or opting for the seasonal flat rate. This tool takes data from your monthly usage and provides an estimate of your monthly and annual charges for Central Coast Community Energy's generation charges. So if you're a newer customer and we don't have much bill history, you may not get a result, in which case you can always call our customer service hotline and they can assist you. So I'm going to show you some screenshots of what the tool looks like, and then I'm going to show you where on the website you can find it, and a video that you can watch if you want to go through more slowly later on with your bill by your side. So the first screen that you'll see is a place to enter your account information, your name, and your zip code. You can also toggle between English and Spanish at this point. Like I said, if you're a newer customer or something's gone wrong, you can always just call our phone number there. And then once you're in the calculator, you will see in front of you that you've got two choices. You can continue with 3C choice, which is our standard energy mix, or you can opt up to 100% renewable option. 3C prime, 100% clean and renewable energy, is only 0.8 of a penny more per kilowatt hour. For residential customers, this translates into about $5 to $7 more per month. So it's a great way to be, climate friendly without going through the effort to install solar, especially if you're renting. And then once you enter your information, you will see a side-by-side comparison of the monthly cost and the annual costs between our default rate and our seasonal flat rate. And as you can see, they're both very similar. And then you can also toggle at the top between 3C choice and 3C prime, which is our 100% clean and renewable option. And then for those customers who are on an E1 or a tiered rate plan, you will only see our default rate because we do not have a seasonal flat option available for this, for our E1 customers. And then if after looking at the calculator, you decide that you do want the seasonal flat option, you can fill out an online form here. I'll have Patty drop the link in the chat, or you can call our call center. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do a walkthrough. Okay, on our home page, you go to Account and Services, and then you can scroll down to Rate Choices, and you will see about halfway down our 2022 cost comparison tool, which is what I just showed you screenshots of. And here is the place where you can enter all of your information. And right below that, there's a more detailed walkthrough video that you can watch and do that and enter your information at the same time. So you would enter your account number, your last name, and your zip code right here. Sorry, excuse all the clicking. Okay, once you enter your account information, this is what it's going to look like for a residential customer. So this is our default rate of what you could expect in January 2022 without taking any action. And your estimated monthly cost of generation based on your bill history that we have will show a number here. And then over to the right, it will have a different number of what you would be paying on average if you had a seasonal flat rate option. So like I said, our default rate is designed to support most all of our customers. If you want to explore what it would look like if you opted up to 100% clean and renewable energy, you can click the 3C Prime button over here. And then you can see your estimated cost of generation services here. Again, very similar between the two options. So there's the language toggles up here between English and Spanish. And again, you can see that the default rate is designed to serve you. If you wanted the seasonal rate plan, you would just select this button right here. If you decide that you want the seasonal flat rate plan and you want to opt up to 100% clean and renewable energy, then you would just go ahead and select the seasonal flat rate, go through those steps, and then when that is completed, you could opt up to 3C Prime. Okay, I'm assuming you can see the PowerPoint again. Let me know if that is not true, Patty. And I'm going to just keep going. So I want to share this additional customer resources page with you. You can find all of our recorded webinars, our frequently asked questions. I'm going to have Patty drop all of these links into the chat for you. You can find our cost comparison tool to double check and the difference between the default and flat rate options for you. And you can register for any upcoming webinars. So some upcoming webinars that may be of interest to you. This webinar will be held again on this Thursday evening. If you want to revisit it or have someone else watch it, we'll be doing it the following week in Spanish. And then we have two upcoming webinars for our solar customers on making the move to monthly NEM, which will be in November and December. So with that, I conclude my presentation and I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, we had lots of questions we've been answering in the chat box. All right, so one of the gentlemen asked, he says, can you talk to me a little bit more about the seasonal flat rate? Because I believe that the rate was actually this dollar amount for summer and this dollar amount for winter, and I'm not actually understanding which is correct. And so how is the seasonal flat rate, how does that shift a bit? And why are the rates different?
So the seasonal flat rate does have one rate in the summer and one rate in the winter. And it doesn't matter what time of day you use energy, you will be paying a certain amount in the summer and a certain amount in the winter. The other default plan is tied to the new time of use rates that most of the state is transitioning over to. So there will be lower rates from 9 p.m. all the way through the middle of the night, through the morning, afternoon to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and then higher rates from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. on our default offering.
The other piece too that's important is that people keep saying I'm a little confused. And so what I want to say is that for a specific rate, okay, for your account on your bill, there's a specific rate that's set by PG&E. So you could be an A1, you could be a B10. That number shows up on your bill. And that rate class is established by PG&E according to the volume of energy that you use, and also if you're NEM or not NEM. And so that rate determines what the cost of energy is. And so, when you showed examples earlier in the presentation, somebody said that number doesn't match. And the reason that number doesn't match is because that was an example of a specific rate. And so each individual, they use the rate calculator to enter in their account number and such that's tied to their rate that helps them actually determine which is the best path forward. And so we're just showing examples of the rates, but not just specifically saying you, Mr. Smith, or you, Mrs. Jones, or such, this is your current rate, because those are established by PG&E. And then we use that same kind of rate class to establish this pathway. All right. And thank you for the answer, Jenna, about it. Someone asked, are there any hour limitations for the flat rate? And so like a time of use.
Oh,
so the answer is no, correct?
No, that's correct. So with the seasonal flat, you have one rate for the winter and one rate for the summer, and it doesn't matter what time of day that you're using the electricity. But you'll see with the calculator that our default rate was designed to benefit the majority of our customers. So, and then it gives customers an opportunity to actually reduce their energy costs as we all get more used to shifting our energy usage out of the 4 to 9 p.m. window. We can actually bring down our, our individual energy costs.
All right, thank you, Jenna. We have another question who says, can I have a copy of the PowerPoint that you're presenting?
Yes, and Patty has a link she can drop in the chat to show you where you can find that. There is already a presentation loaded up there from a couple weeks ago, and then today's presentation will be uploaded probably today or tomorrow.
All right, Jenna, thank you. Another question is what dates, or actually, let's say months, define summer and winter under the seasonal flat rate?
That's a great question. Do you know the answer, Susan?
So normally it's June, July, August, and September is actually summer, and everything else is winter. So it usually starts in June. So June, July, August, and September. All right. Oh, okay. So we have another customer who says, I don't know my rate plan with PG&E. So can you go back to your examples of the bill pages, and maybe we can see if there's a rate on that? Oh, okay. So when you look here, the one you're currently showing, this page is actually usually the first page. Okay. And so this is the page that says this is what you owe, or this is where your credit is. And so let's go to the next one and see if we have another one on the next page. Okay, so here, this is actually the page that tells the customer what they've actually used during the course of the month. And so circle, yep, right there on the top left, just underneath your address, it actually will give you the rate schedule. And so that actually circles back to the individual who asked earlier and says, wait a minute, your numbers on the screen are not matching. Remember, this rate schedule is set by PG&E. When your account is established, that because of usage sets this rate schedule. You are allowed to pick up the phone and call PG&E and talk to them about the rate schedule. Is there a better rate schedule for me? Because remember, PG&E does the billing in this process, okay? And so you have a rate schedule, which is an E1, then it says your house or your business uses X amount of energy. And that's how the usage, where you see farther down on the bill where it says 23 cents, that's how the usage is tied together as to that rate schedule. So when you go in and use the rate calculator, the rate calculator has your address, your information, your account number, and your usage and your rate schedule. And so when you're typing that information into the rate calculator, it accesses that database and pulls that information out to you and shares with you what you've been doing for the last year and which is the best path forward. So that's how the rate calculator is tied to the specific information on your bill. All right, so that was it. We answered that one live. Okay. Another customer said, how do I print a copy of my current bill?
So you can do that from the PG&E website. And then, as I said, we're establishing our own customer portal soon. So soon you'll be able to do it from there. But for now, you would need to log in at pgne.com.
All right. And so another customer says, the summer rate on the screen was shown as 0.084 and the winter was shown as 0.080. Are these rates per kilowatt hour? So that's a great question, because when you're actually looking at the screen right now and you're looking at an example of your bill, let's say, and so see here on the bill, if you want to scroll there, Jenna, and show them where the kilowatt usage is in the middle of the bill on the, yeah. And so that's where you can actually look at your bill and see what your rate is. And so you can see how much did you use per kilowatt hour. That's how it's actually measured. You can then see what the rate is for that time period. And what will happen is in the time of use, you'll see it broken into the time of use periods. If it's a seasonal flat, you will see it actually listed as winter or actually listed as summer, and you can tell which period that you're in. So your PG&E bill gives you that information to tell you which pathway or which rate you're working in when you get your bill. Okay, let's see. All right, so how does this program affect people with solar? So do you want me to answer that one?
That's why you're here.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about solar, okay? So if you choose the default, which we call the TOU option path forward, okay? If you use more energy, which means you don't overproduce, but you actually use energy and you pull it from the grid, okay? So you're using when you have solar, you're pushing and pulling from the grid, okay? If you use more, so it means that you're used to actually getting a true up or getting something that says you're going to be paying X for the usage, right? Okay. Then what will happen is this information will show up on your PG&E bill and the excess charges. So after the push and pull or the wash for that month, the excess charges will be billed to you on your bill. So normally what happens is most of our customers, they have this annual bill, and at the end of the year, they get this one bill with this big number that says pay up, okay? And so you can see it kind of accruing every month. We are shifting over to monthly so that it's much easier to be very aware of how you use your energy. And so what happens is that this allows you to actually know, and you'll get a bill and you just pay the bill, all right? What will happen is every December, you will still true up, okay? And so what happens is you currently true up, and so starting in December, everybody's gonna true up, and what will happen is starting in January, where this all occurs, you will still true up, but what will happen is you'll get that what we call a black and white bill, and that black and white bill will show you what you used and what happened each month. All right. So customers who generate more, all right, if they're choosing the TOU rate option, okay, then you actually will get a net surplus compensation. And my boss is reminding me that this is not a NEM webinar. And so, and so we actually are going to host a NEM webinar. So we'll put that in the chat box because NEM customers ask a lot more specific questions. This is more about the rate tool. And so I'm going to stop talking about NEM as much. Okay. And let you know that that we are going to have a specific webinar focused on NEM. We're going to have one in November and another one in December because we know that NEM customers always have a lot of questions. Okay. And my apologies for the use of the word black and white bill. That's only for commercial customers, but you do get a true up. So what happens is it's actually included in your residential bill. So my apologies. All right. So I'm going to get off solar for the moment. All right. And ask you the next question, Jenna. What is the penalty for using a washer and dryer or dishwasher during peak hours if I'm enrolled in the time of use default plan?
Well, I don't know if there's a penalty per se. You will just pay more per your kilowatt usage at that time during the 4 to 9 window. But it's not like you're charged an add-on fee. You're just continuing to use electricity, but it's at a different rate during that time.
Correct. And so it's the time at the time of use versus the seasonal flat, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so one of the gentlemen said the calculator is not recognizing my PG&E account number. Sometimes that's because there's a dash in some of the numbers and such. And he says, I'm typing in it right from my bill. So can we put up the call center number again so that he can actually call out and talk to the call center and they can actually put his information in and work with him on the phone? That's what the call center is for.
And you don't need the dash. So I don't know if that would solve the problem, but you can take the dash and that last number out. But otherwise, please do call them. They're happy to help you.
Oh, and we have another customer who says his the numbers didn't come out correctly. And so for the flat rate, so we're going to say to this individual, again, please call the call center number, which is on the screen, or you can email them. Okay. And actually they will walk you through and they can help provide additional information if you're not getting something that you're looking for on your bill. Right. All right, another customer says, does the rate calculator show costs for summer separate from winter for a customer? Will it tell me what's different in there? What will it provide me information-wise?
So I'll just pull it up again. And so it is taking an average of what you would pay with both seasons taken into account. So as you can see here, it just says the estimated monthly cost. So that's taking into account, they truly are designed to be quite similar. So even with the, one rate in the summer and the winter, they're going to average out to be very similar to what you would be paying on the default option.
And so the calculator does not show
the calculator does not show what you would pay in a summer month or winter month, but those different rates are available on our rate sheet. Patty can drop that into the chat. It's starts on page 24 for residential customers.
So if I want to know what the difference in the rate is, I can actually look at the rate sheet and that'll show me what the rate is for the time of use or the rate for the seasonal flat. So I can look at that up. Or I could call the call center too and ask them, depending on what my rate class is on my bill, correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. All right, another one asks, to simplify, are the seasonal rate plans for summer generally higher or lower than the rates in winter?
So for I'm assuming we've mostly got residential customers on the call. We've got 8.4 during the summer and 8 cents per kilowatt hour in the winter.
So a tiny bit higher in the summer, and which is only the 4 months, and then and lower in the winter, which is the 8 months of the year. Okay. All right. Another customer says, for seniors in Santa Cruz's taxes, actually for everybody in Santa Cruz, taxes are deducted from the bill. Will this continue with the new billing options? So do you want to talk a little bit about how billing is and the taxes that show up on a bill? And you can go back to a bill if you want to, example.
So my understanding is that very little is changing in January. So your bill is going to continue to look the same. Your rate with PG&E is going to continue to translate over to us. It's simply just the way that we are calculating our generation charges, that we're untethering them from PG&E's rates in order to provide more rate stability over the next 3 years. So our hope is that you will have very minimal amounts of change in your generation charges with Central Coast Community Energy. So that is the main shift that's happening, and it's certainly something to be celebrated.
Thank you, Jenny. You're correct. It is to be celebrated. Go to the next page on that screen. And so see how you have, so there are energy commission taxes and such. And so each jurisdiction, depending on how their taxes are set up, may include tax or not. And so since we are not doing the billing, PG&E is still doing the billing. We're just the electricity portion of the bill. You will continue to see the same items show up on your bill. You'll just be able to actually see the rates also too, which is where we're going. Sorry, I muted myself by accident. All right, what if the heat source on my bill is incorrect? Mine says H electric, but I have gas panels and heaters in the other rooms. All right, and so again, we're going to go back to this is only electric. This is not gas. PG&E does both your gas and electric. And so for a question like that I would pick up the phone and call the PG&E call center on the bill and walk through and talk to them about it, okay? And have a conversation with the rep about what's happened in your house. Sometimes it's possible that things have been switched over time and maybe the bill hasn't been updated. And so I would always start by picking up the phone and calling the PG&E call center on the bill and walking through with them and getting that clarified. And you talk to them also about rates to make sure you're getting the best rate possible that fits with how your house is set up. All right. All right, can we change our choice if we choose seasonal or time of use? Can we change it during the year? And is there a time period in which we cannot make a change for another option?
So you can select the seasonal flat rate until the end of the month, October 31st. And then I believe if you did select for seasonal, correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, then you could switch over to the default rate at any point in the future, but then you cannot toggle back to seasonal. So the only time that you can select seasonal is now till the end of the month of October.
All right, and so another customer says, I'm currently set up with tier rates and a NEM customer, which means he's potentially legacy. All right, and so he went to the calculator, but it didn't give him a flat rate option. And so we do want to say that customers who have legacy rates, okay, please reach out and talk to our call center because legacy rates are still honored. And so we would like to have it for a customer who has a situation like this, who has a little more unusual, I would say, bill, smart enough to know to, they have solar and other things. Talk to our call center on the number that's been provided or emailed them and say, this is, please take a look at my account, look at the tier structure and stuff, and help me choose the best path forward. Because again, the calculator was built for the bulk of our customers, but we do have customers with legacy rates that sometimes the calculator actually will stop talking to you. All right. Let's see. Is the 4 to 9 time of use window in effect all year and all week? Oh, did I mute myself?
I muted myself. Yes, if you're on a time of use plan with a 4 to 9 window, that is in place year round.
Correct. And it used to be, sometimes it used to be weekdays, not weekends and stuff like that, but now it is 7 days a week, year round, correct? Yep.
That's correct.
All right, we have a non-residential question here. What is the percentage increase for machines during peak seasons when I'm on the default plan, time of use plan? Customers I'd like to know how to use the equipment during peak times. So that's a much more complex question, isn't it?
That is, I'm not quite sure how to answer that one besides guiding people to the rate sheet in order to understand the percentage difference. Do you have a more nuanced response, Susan?
I'm assuming if the person is talking about machines, that then they're talking more about the commercial side of the business and not a residential, okay? And so whether it be small, medium, or large commercial, okay? What I would do is reach out to the call center and talk to our call center, okay? Because one of the pieces is the goal is if you pay attention to the time of use period between 4 and 9 when the rates are a little higher, and a good example is come in and you switch on the lights and then maybe switch on a piece of equipment and switch on another piece of equipment. What you're doing is you're not making the equipment all push and pull electricity at the same time. And so that's part of thinking about how you actually run your business and how it ties into your energy bill. So it was a great question on the commercial side. All right. And somebody else said, will we be able to look at the chat and Q&A if we're watching this later?
The chat and Q&A is not visible on the recording, but we do post answers to our frequently asked questions. And there was a link for that. I will continue clicking back to that.
The other thing is for, we've been talking about time of use and we've been talking about the seasonal flat rate. And so for most residential customers, okay, the default time of use will be the more efficient and more cost-effective rate for you. And so that's what the rate calculator will continue to show you, okay? So that's why we actually wish that you go to the calculator and do that. And if like as the individual with NEM said he didn't get an answer, pick up the phone and call our call center and have a conversation. Our goal here is to help you figure out and pick the path forward. And so that we're here to provide the resources for you so that you could actually get the information that you want to choose going forward. All right. All right. Another customer says, it's almost impossible to figure out what rate plan and price per kilowatt on the PG&E website, and also for what time of day and year. Is there a better way than their system? All right, so you want to answer that first, Jenna, and then I'll follow up?
Well, I do want to say, if you log into the PG&E website, they do have right now a really great tool that shows you the difference of what you would pay on the time of use plan that everyone's transitioning, sorry, all residential customers are transitioning to right now versus choosing an alternative plan. So they have that calculator put in place to make things easier, and that would be selecting your particular rate. And then whatever rate you select is going to be honored on the Central Coast Community Energy side. I hope that answered the question.
You know, the PG&E, they can also call the PG&E call center and talk to the call center too about their rate and you know, ask about pieces and such. You know, again, PG&E sets the rates based upon usage and such, and we share behind, you know, locked doors, you know, the data and usage and such like that. So they have the same information. Actually, they, you know, we share the information back and forth. And so you can call them and talk to them and say, is there a better rate plan? What are the benefits? And you may also call our call center and talk to us too. Okay. But remember, we're not the ones who set the rate structure. That's done, you know, which is why I'm kind of saying call PG&E and chat with them to get a little more help of information in that way. Okay, one of the customers said, how do I sign up for the NEM webinars in November since I have NEM?
I believe Patty dropped that into the chat.
There it is.
Yep.
3ce.org. Yep. 3cenergy.org/NEM. Yep. And so that would be an excellent website to go to because you'll see the different webinars that are coming up. It also contains information about solar and such. You can also feel free to call the 800 number, our call center number. They'll happily sign you up for stuff. That's what we're here for. Okay. So great question. All right. Okay, this is an unusual question. So with the flat rate option, I was told that it's for usage for the course of the month, and so that I won't see peaks and time of use and things like that in the flat rate option. Is that correct?
That is correct. It doesn't matter what time of day or what day of the week you use energy. It only matters what season it is. So what month it is that you're using energy. So you'll pay the same rate June through September, and then you'll pay a different rate October through May.
All right. Another individual says, could you please explain what a NEM customer should do? Okay. Well, as we said before, the rate calculator does actually do calculation for NEM or for a customer without NEM. So our first suggestion is go to the calculator tool, right? Which is you show the location on the website and actually enter your information there and see what comes up. You also can actually reach out to the call center, or you can phone them or email them and have conversations also. As an additional resource, there are recorded webinars for NEM and residential customers on our website that's shown on Jenna's screen. And so that's another place is, you know, we see our NEM customers asking a lot of questions that pertain to how they use energy. And the website, our website is a very good resource to actually get some more information.
I also want to know it's okay not to do anything. You know, the majority of our customers across all rate classes will do great on the default plan. So if you're busy and you just want to go, you know, with the flow and trust our math, you could take that approach too.
All right, we are actually just a couple minutes before 1 o'clock, and our webinar is only for 1 o'clock today. We haven't answered every question, but we do actually post this recording on our website. We also create what we call FAQs, frequently asked questions, that we post on our website also. And so we appreciate everyone being here today. I'm going to step out asking questions so you guys can close down your webinar. Thank you, Jenna. And thank you, Patty.
Thank you so much, Susan, for assisting with answering questions. And so like I said, this webinar is being recorded and it will be available today or tomorrow on our website. And I really appreciate all of you participating in our conversation today. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jenna.